Trudeau derangement syndrome. What is it? How can we overcome this plague that is infecting the freedom community? I keep seeing this pattern over and over again, especially with these fake freedom fighters. They like to blame the top of the heap, the people who they will never meet, the people who will never meet them. You know, they'll always go to blaming Hitler, Trudeau, Donald Trump, etc. Trump derangement syndrome was a real thing. That's why I'm calling this video Trudeau derangement syndrome. Who is more responsible, the order follower or the order giver? The order follower is always more responsible. You don't have to worry one bit about Justin Trudeau. He literally does nothing but speak and sign shit. The people you have to worry about in government are the order followers and the bootlickers, their wives, their spouses, the people who support them. Worry about the cops, worry about the military. If you are in the police, you need to quit. If you are in the military, you need to quit. If you're in the border services, you need to quit. If you're in the National Guard, you need to fucking quit your job because you're in an anti-human cult called government. So why is it like this? Because it's easy to pass the buck onto one person and say, oh, I trust the political process and I don't want to do the hard work of going into my community and really solving the problem. And how do you solve a problem? You stop it from happening in the first place. Education, education, education. No one wants to do this stuff. How many people do you even know that talk like I do? Very few, probably. That's why you're subscribed to this channel. And I know that, you know that. It's good to see that so many of my favorite people and my mentors are still active. Mark Passio is still doing his thing. Michael Tessarion is still up there. Michael Black I've been watching some of his videos. But I met a lot of Americans traveling the US. Half of the young people, or at least the people my age, were like die-hard Bernie Sanders supporters, supporters of Elizabeth Warren, who are promoting this concept of socialism. More people have died under socialism / communism than any other system of government. Why is that? Because when you live in a morally relativistic society, it eventually turns barbaric and all bets are off. All hell just breaks loose. The less power the individual has, really, the less morale the community will have, and they just simply won't go out and get what needs to be done. United States is the only country that ever really took their freedom back by force, and there still is many arms that are trying to strangle the United States, and you can just use your imagination onto what groups are still involved in that. I'll give you a hint. Communist International is still very active now. People see that the Berlin Wall fell down and that communism just eventually just disappeared overnight. Yeah, okay, so a political system that engulfed half the world, killed some over 100 million people, just disappeared because the wall fell down, right? How naive are people to think that this stuff just goes away overnight? I also wonder how many times we have to slay this beast called communism. I feel like every generation has to do this. Just back to the main point, like, you don't have to worry about Justin Trudeau. All he does is fucking nothing. He's nothing in your life at all. Neither is Donald Trump. Any kind of government that has a president, first of all, we don't even really have governments. We have corporate governments, which are just commercial entities, and Trudeau's just the top manager of it. Who's more responsible? The order follower or the order giver? The order follower is always more responsible. Now, I'm not saying the order giver has no responsibility, because, you know, that's simply not true, but worry about the fucking communities you live in that grow up promoting, you know, obedience as a virtue. Obedience is not a virtue. Were the obedient Stalin communists virtuous when they, like, killed whoever they were told to because, you know, they got a better seat at the table if they did what they were told? Were the Nazis who drove all these Jews to concentration camps, were they virtuous because they did what they were told and grew up and did what the government says? These are the people you have to worry about. You never have to worry about Hitler. You never have to worry about Trudeau. You never have to worry about Trump. You need to get down to brass tacks and start really educating the youth and whoever you can, really. I kind of lose faith in a lot of people once they reach like 45. people just get old and jaded and they just don't really give a shit anymore. But, you know, the young people, they're smarter than we were. They have all the research tools available to them. So I think just hearing a couple words will really change their minds. Now, not everyone is involved in this Bernie Sanders, circle jerk, Elizabeth Warren nonsense, because at the end of the day, the research is on our side. Everything is on our side. We cannot go down this road of collectivism and eventually communism. But, you know, it doesn't look good right now, but this has to break soon, or else, you know, there's going to be hell to pay. And I just feel like the more we talk about this stuff, the better our chances are. The goal for all my videos is really just to get as many people on our side as possible. Now, keep in mind, when I learned a little bit, I just immediately opened the airwaves and started talking. I'm not like other people who just sat on information for 5 years. I go back in my videos sometimes and it's a little bit rough and my voice wasn't really there, and there was a couple other problems, but holy fuck, like, if we just had a couple people or a couple thousand maybe more with a little bit of courage and knowledge about the world situation, we would be making a lot of headway. Many hands make light work, so you gotta join this fight and get off the anonymous alias, because that's really doing nothing. You just make us look even more fearful and cowardly if you're just posting on an alias, you know, like